So, welcome everyone to more low level. Yes, I often say low level. For me, it's not even that low level, but I mean C library, you probably could argue low level C library and libelf. So yesterday we are like on the last days of 2021, so much to release management. But that is when you always find one more issue, one more bug, one more improvement. But we are, and the year is coming to an end. Looks like on the last days of a month or two later than we expected. Anyway, so musl libc was our big reorganization of GCC, of improved cross-compiling. We broke musl and libc, of course. I tested this already last night, as mentioned, and of course with the T2 subversion revision before the big GCC further improvements, it of course builds. I also already YOLO'd that. Not so super pretty, still need to, because it wasn't immediately obviously what's going wrong there and stuff. Anyway, we will fix that now, documenting all the details and efforts here for you to learn something. And I need to do it anyway, recurring theme, I need to do it anyway. I can also live stream it, so cheers. So also libelf fails. We patch that here, fix size hash, let's see. We have here like libelf, and I mentioned this before, this dependency only needed for building the Linux kernel. That is actually somewhat interesting. I wonder if that is upstream. So what happened is probably data most likely updated that. Let's see, most likely it was data, but it doesn't even matter too much who updated this. Most likely it was an update. And with that, data actually 100, so just one version. We should, so normally pro tip, we should first open the file, but it's kind of sort of also patching, so that succeeded, right? So let's hope, if we are lucky, this other changes are upstream for building libelf with other C libraries, and this was an easy rebase, aka deleting most of the stuff. Hey, that was an easy one apparently. So let's create a new tmux and also uclibc. For uclibc we had OpenRisk. Also, so the fun thing is, fun. Since recently I always mistype OpenRisk to OpenRisk5 for some obvious reason. uclibc. Okay, Mesa, thank you very much. Do I even want to see what's going on there? So yeah, that is the pain point here of supporting all this stuff. Stuff is constantly failing. Build hello x46 musl. I think that was building some weeks ago. Mesa, what's going on this time? LMC target machine. What did we not? Did I skip over LVM maybe? Okay, I skipped over LVM for some reason. LLVM, not sure what that was. We will see. Okay, this actually alright, so OpenRisk, uclibc in general also failed on libelf because it was the same patch, so we actually tested it. So that is good to commit. Updated libelf musl and uclibc, or actually theoretically non-glibc. I mean, theoretically, maybe I should always like rebase or something, because we have some release script that is grabbing for update, and so theoretically this would falsify a little bit. I mean, it's like updating this patch, but maybe a rebase like better for, actually maybe we should become even more consistent with this kind of stuff for best changelog auto processing. So it's going LVM. What was the build error on LLVM? I don't even remember. That was last midnight, whatever that was. But otherwise, it's not even looking that bad. And so the uclibc thing is we now build more of GCC, and I have the feeling, so what I did is I disabled the new massively built more features of GCC and like built it the more classic way here. Or actually, I know, build only the lib standard C++. And that apparently, although theoretically maybe we should also build libatomic, but maybe was this libatomic? We will see. Actually, maybe I think there was some. Oh no, this wasn't Rust. This was 486. Rust was undefined reference to __ at atomic 8 or something. Yeah, so that is a little bit of a hack. I will definitely commit this. That simplifies building that. We just don't get as many features for cross-building like lib sanitizers and stuff as we do for uclibc, but for a quick test or for now, this is basically similar to what we had before. And otherwise, LVM we will see. I have the feeling, so what happens is with both musl and libc, if we build like more, like we do for uclibc, we get glibc features enabled. And I wonder if that might be with sharing the cache. So actually, we could commit this already. So SDE config libc equals glibc. So I guess that should work. We will obviously soon find out if there are any typos. I also apparently copied that somehow. Glibc, that should be more tabs. One, two, three, four. 2, 3, 4. Probably looks good. I commit this as backup. Commit early, commit often, and release early, release often. Hot fixed new GCC Canadian cross to build to not rebuild full GCC for non-glibc and uclibc. And then we can see, I think I finished the sentence, right? I hope I said, I have the impression this is due to, so why is that? Due to, so it's running a little bit warm. I think the heating is too high in the office. That is due to, also I should check comments, due to maybe sharing the cache, and welcome everyone. On M1 MacBook One, can we install Linux? You can today. I had this installed already, previous video. It's just not yet amazing, right? And in general, I should make a dedicated video sometime soon, as many people ask this question, because, right, do you see this on the, you probably see that, right? So this is poor man's mirror here. I just don't have an external camera. So this is an M1 MacBook Pro. This is also why, unfortunately, I live stream from macOS these days. So yeah, I mean, it's complicated, right? So Asahi M1 Max, also LLVM built now for whatever reason. It didn't last night or something. It's complicated, right? Unless you are a hardcore developer, I would not recommend to do that. But basically you can use the ISO that we release the next days that has N1 mini bootloader support, but setting this up is still a domain specific knowledge task of not for regular end users. Plus you only Wi-Fi driver patched last night, not yet upstream. Plus even if Wi-Fi is in there and it would work, you still don't have sound, not camera, in case you, although camera I would probably consider a secondary feature, but no camera, no sound and no graphic and no video hardware acceleration, neither 3D nor hardware encode decode. So I would in general don't recommend Apple hardware. I never recommended Apple hardware for Linux users. It never made the most sense. And I didn't say Mini, I said they named their bootloader. It doesn't matter, they are all similar. The bootloader is just called Mini M1. The bootloader is M1 or bootloader or boot. So it has nothing to do with the Mini. But yeah, I'm also not the greatest fan of their naming. But so the bootloader is M1. N1. Why is this N1? Also somehow. That is just the name of their bootloader. But in general, it's complicated to set up if you are, again, I repeat myself. So in general, don't get this hardware. It will not be user satisfiable. I mean, you will not enjoy it, right? Unless you're a hardcore developer and can, like myself, work all day long on a terminal. It will be hardware isolated, not hardware isolated graphics, barely mode setting, for mode setting, like, or using external HDMI or stuff. It is a miserable experience, right? Unless you are a core developer and can work, probably even Linus Torvalds doesn't work on text terminals like I do. I've seen he's using graphical stuff most of the day. So unless you are much more comfortable with working on limited text console stuff like developers like myself, then nobody said, so Apple never said they support Linux, right? This is a misconception. First, battery life is, maybe you should have gotten AMD Ryzen 5000. I said this multiple times on my channel, right? And Apple never said they support Linux, right? Apple is doing a shit. Apple is doing zero, right? This is why general recommendation, do not give Apple money, do not vote with your wallet if you want Linux. Buy a general Linux more supporting, like even Dell and stuff, and even Lenovo, they send patches and stuff upstream, and even Dell has done EFI booting stuff and so on. Apple is doing zero and a shit for Linux. All the Linux support is done by individuals. They only said they do not like forbid and disable that in the firmware, right? And even that Apple broke recently. So they now added because Apple changed the Mach-O kernel loading details. So they broke booting Linux recently. So now, however, they added, credit where credit is due, they added a raw loading mechanism that supposedly it's not going to break again for booting Linux. So yeah, and so Apple is doing nothing, and the effort of getting Linux is individuals, a community is sponsoring Hector Martin, aka Macan. So Apple is not paying anything, Apple is not giving any cent. Individual contributors like you and me and Hector Martin, obviously, and all those people, and Lisa Rosenzweig, or plus minus pronunciation, and from the top of my head, GPU. So people spend their lifetime, good years of their life, day and night, reverse engineering CPU details, SOC details, bootloader details, IO MMU details, interrupt details, Wi-Fi, GPU, reverse engineering GPU. So this is a multi-year effort that Apple is giving 0 cent of all the multi-billions they have in their bank account. And welcome everyone. So yes, and this is the crazy stuff of misconception that I read again and again, and we need to fight it. I need to. Do I have here a to-do? By the way, maybe I should. I probably also should make a review video. But yeah, it should be obvious that Apple is only interested in supporting macOS, right? Apple has zero. They only do this as an alibi thing of, look, we don't fully lock it, right? And maybe to calm down critics who say this is getting it too locked in and wallet garden platform. And if Apple would be nicer, in my also this is why I didn't buy a Mac in 7 years. So that is the first Mac I brought in 7 years, and that only because I would not even brought it for my Linux work. I only brought it because we also have a Mac product. But even for our Mac product, I was so even as a Mac developer, I was so dissatisfied with their previous hardware, touch bar and other soldered down components and stuff. I did not buy a Mac for 7 years, right? I used my Retina MacBook Pro falling apart, the rubber feeds fall off, the rubber surrounding the display bezel is falling off, the fan is scratching at times, the keyboard is already disintegrating. So yeah, after 7 years and stuff, and so on and so on. Yeah, even I, with a primary use case, did not buy Macs in 7 years because they were simply not competitive, in my opinion, except the display, maybe. Yeah, even this M1 stuff I would not have brought because all the proprietariness, right? I said this multiple times. I would, out of principle, if my company would not need an M1 Mac for Mac development testing, I would not have brought it, right? I do not support that individuals like Hector Martin, although somehow, of course, they like to hack stuff like the P3 and so on, and that is fine. And Lisa Rosenzeug likes to reverse engineer GPUs. That is, of course, fine, and they can do whatever they want in their lifetime and hobby. But I would not spend my years of my life supporting a multi-billion-dollar company for free for reverse engineering the stuff. I collect the patches and integrate them in T2 in a reasonable way, but I will not. And even that already took me multiple afternoons of supporting that in T2, right? And more, I will not sit here and reverse engineer Apple's shit. So you and Hector Martin are doing awesome things, but the work that you're doing will be official. Well, I'm not really doing much with Apple M1 Mac stuff, right? I'm only integrating their patches. They do all the hard work. I only collect the stuff and make it to work in T2, like adding the bootloader package. So, and of course we will, did I release an ISO? Maybe I even released an ISO already. We do so much stuff here, I myself even lose overview. Maybe there is already a release candidate that could have, did I release ARM? I think, yeah. So maybe that could mostly work, but again, installing this is a major pain. And right now, maybe the problem is also I can't test installing too much, right? Because this is like kind of my nearly primary work machine now, because my other Retina MacBook Pro is falling apart after 7 years. And maybe I have to get a second one just to support this. And also in our company, certainly I can't run a professional software company with only one M1. So if I'm not rushing and buying another second M1 Mac instantly because I'm not supporting that the most. I'm rather cheapskate like Louis Rossmann and Scrooge McDuck here with my hardware and money. So I probably wait that maybe Apple will next year have an M1 Mac Mini Pro or so with M1 Max or whatever the next Mac Mini thing is. So I will probably wait because I don't need like two of the same generation stuff like that. So just to be able to install, just to be able to test more installing and stuff, I already might need to get a second M1 to do that comfortably, which is obviously you probably want to share, like, and subscribe and Patreon and GoFundMe and all this good stuff. But yeah, so this ISO is there, so you can, it may or may not have M1 and one bootloader. But again, installation is complicated. It took me even like half of a weekend, and yeah, but again, it has not hardware isolated 3D graphics, video playback, audio. So in my opinion, again, are you a hardcore developer? Because if not, the experience that you will get out of Linux on an M1 on an Apple Silicon ARM Mac is probably not what you expect for at least another year. Probably we get sound soon. We get Wi-Fi works now mostly or so, I heard. But graphics, I would not expect hardware isolated graphics to work in 6 months, maybe 12 months. Yes, they have some support, but the support, many people also don't realize, right? People see on Twitter, hey, they have now 3D support. The 3D support they have in Mesa, they have some code, which is of course amazing and hard reverse engineering work, but that runs proof of concept in macOS, right? So they are testing, they are prototyping this in macOS, and in my opinion, writing the kernel driver, so they still need to write the Linux side kernel driver for the direct rendering management interface. And I don't expect that to be less than 6 months, if not 12 months. And that will be a rough first version. So yeah, I can't stress this enough, right? Now we digressed a little bit. Actually, I wanted to make notes. Do I have here already somewhere on my recent file? Do I have like, hey, I have here a YouTube video text file of oh, cool. There's already some outdated stuff here. And so for me in my company, I actually personally would rather spend my money on a Threadripper, right? I need way more processing power. Sure, they will have eventually a Mac Pro M1, like a quad, potentially like something like a quad die or something. What would it be? Like 40 core or so, whatever their plans are. But that is not yet announced yet, right? And in general, as I said, then I would have, and I made this mistake, right? I'm in 2006, like 15 years ago, my company shed out 6,000 euro, which I still regret to the day. We brought previous videos, I have videos about the Mac Pro. So my company put money where our mouth was when we were a small company with a small team with my little personal $1,000 of funding. To start the company. So we spent 6,000 euro, and this was after a 20% developer discount. That day, at that time, Apple still had developer discounts for registered Apple developers, which we had been back in the day. So we spent, something, maybe the retail price was 6,600 or so for a dual socket, dual processor Mac Pro with Intel Xeon. I have the specs here somewhere. And I regret this to this day. Sure, it was the most performance system I ever had. But the problem is it didn't even age well, right? It was fun for like 12 months. Well, it was expensive fun. And then it was 32-bit EFI. So you could neither upgrade the CPU, and I tried. You would probably need to patch the firmware. So there were physically compatible Intel Xeons that Apple obviously did not allow to user upgrade if you wanted. So if you wanted to spend 1,000 euros on Intel Xeons, you could not upgrade them. On similar PC hardware, you could upgrade them. So you brought a 6,000 euro machine where you could not ever upgrade the CPUs, and it was 32-bit EFI, which at the time nobody really took notice of. And so this was, Apple stopped, so even on macOS, Apple stopped really quickly software support. Maybe even like 3 years or so after this, like really quickly, because it was the first generation of Intel Macs with 32-bit EFI, right? So unless you community custom hacked bootloader stuff, you could not boot even Apple's Snowflake blessed macOS boot. And so, of course, I run mostly Linux anyway, and at least we had an official, so it was not like 6,000 euro was not totally lost. It's just we did not really get out of this machine what we wanted to, right? So few years of support, no upgrade path. I still have it in the office to the day. I wanted to sell this actually after some years. And so the crazy thing is on eBay, like maybe I tried to, like we brought it in 2006, maybe I tried to sell it on auction it on eBay in 2010, so like maybe 4 years later, because yeah, didn't really need it anymore. And we only would have got 600 euro, right? And obviously I didn't, it was like minimum offer auction stuff. So 3 years later, for a 6,000 euro list price, you only got 600 euro because nobody wanted this, not latest macOS 32-bit EFI. And if we as a developer and Apple developer and people who spend 6,000 euro, this is why I never again gave Apple that much money, and I would never. So even if Apple comes out with an M1 Mac Pro M1 quad die, whatever, 40 core something, for like probably, and the pricing is insane, right? The Mac Pro, I never brought a Mac Pro again. So the current Mac Pro starting price, I think, might be around 10,000. And for that, I get a Threadripper, right? And this is why after some years on Mac hardware, I got back to building my own stuff, right? A previous video, overkill build. I would never overpay Apple that much money for this kind of locked in proprietary system stuff. We digress a little bit from fixing musl, but it just builds along there anyway. So this was, by the way, Apple. So this was this. I have most of our machines here. So this was Z. This is what we got there. Dual socket quad core, each in total of 8 core. And the performance was not even that amazing because Intel's Xeon performance of inter-socket communication and overhead at that time wasn't even that great. So latency, and stuff, and energy consumption and everything. So yeah, ironically, I have upgraded CPUs. Like 5 years later, when I figured I only get 600 euro for this on eBay, I actually auctioned used Xeon 5400 or so, or whatever that was, and plugged them in, and they didn't boot. And maybe someday, theoretically, we could try to hack the EFI firmware. That should be possible, but I was like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. Only so I got this Xeons cheap, like 4 or 5 years after that. So I got this Xeons for only 50 or 100 euro a piece or something, that because they were used and also some years old. So I had 2 unused, relatively high performance Xeons on the shelf because they wouldn't work. And only for this YouTube I tested them some years later, right? So I have a video here so that also, why do we get here best without typos? Yeah, so only like probably 14 or so, or 10 years after I got this. For 10 years I had this Xeon on the shelves, and only then I tested them that they actually even worked. I got another used board from eBay there. Speaking of eBay, what I actually could do, but this is also crazy. I checked sometimes on eBay. Certainly I'm not, so this is our thing, right? So you obviously know they are. So this is exactly this piece of shit that we have, Mac Pro 2.1 from 2008, maybe 2008, whatever. Then maybe it wasn't 2006, maybe it was 2008. Anyway, so that's exactly the piece of shit we have. So yeah, get this piece of historic garbage for 100, currently 1450. And what I sometimes check, yeah, not really, like getting like a trash can. No, never had a trash can. What do they go for? I mean, it's still a little bit too much in my opinion. Like a trash can, maybe I would spend like 500 or so just to have. I mean, it's still usable with Linux, right? And like T2 Linux. But I would also, yeah. I also never liked the design, right? Why should I have ever gotten this? I don't like the trash can design. I was joking this. My wife was, when we were in the Apple store, 2 times she thought it's a trash can, right? 2 times we have been in the Apple store, and my wife wanted to put some chewing gum paper into there, or some other paper towels, like, hey, a trash can, like from the jacket. It's like, this is not a trash can. It's like, it's funny, right? Yeah, this is still relatively expensive, though I'm not shedding out that much money for that. I mean, like 500 for, yeah, but it's, yeah. Anyway, we digress. Let's check the base price of, I thought it's 10,000, but maybe this is with additional, also musl and stuff still building. Where is the Mac Pro? Was the starting price 10,000? It was something crazy, or was it 6,000? Not sure if the starting, it was 6,500. Not sure if that changed, but maybe 10,000 was, all right. Probably this was, 10,000 was a SKU as similar performance than so I built for like less than 2,000, I built a Ryzen 5950X with a similar performance of a Mac Pro, right? So much to 5 times more expensive. Yeah, so I'm not, for 6,000 I buy a Threadripper 5990X or so, and not give Apple that much money. Anyway, we digressed quite a bit while this was test building, so no time was really lost. What we could do, so that fully built now, I think. Let's, so much to our T2 stuff, at least when we fix stuff, it does a build. Also I wanted size. Okay, we touched binutils. Yeah, so we have theoretically bin util to build, whatever was with it. And CMake is CMake, we should somehow. So question here, prepare and release a video how can install Linux on M1 MacBook. So it's complicated, and it's even if you don't have a second Mac, I'm not even sure if, so even for me it was complicated because I don't have a second M1 Mac. As the install instructions from Asahi Linux point out, if you want early UART access and stuff, it's possible with Arduino or Raspberry Pi or stuff. But the easiest is to have a second Mac. That already starts, right? You need a second Mac for early boot UART access if you want to debug stuff. I did this without, as I have 20 years experience, so I managed to install that with reading the documentation, like really guru meditating and really making a sophisticated plan of how to test that. And I was able, with 20 years of Linux low-level experience, to set the M1 N1 Asahi Linux boot procedure up and natively boot my T2 Linux on this M1 Macs. But it took me 2 afternoons, like basically all the free time of a weekend. And as I said, I would need a second M1 Mac to replicate this. I will not tinker with my primary work machine, right? This is why I can't really make a video right now. I only, maybe again, depending on when Apple will release an M1 Max or Pro or M2 Mac Mini next year, and then we might buy this. But until then, read the documentation, follow their documentation, and instead of Debian, use our T2 ISO. That does work if you follow their guideline. But leave in the comments below, would this even be useful, right? Again, you don't have any graphic acceleration, right? Are you really sure it is worth the effort to have a Linux on an M1 Mac if it's dock slow? I'm not even sure right now. For me, native Linux was slower than running a VM on macOS. Maybe because for the M1 Max and Pro it didn't do CPU frequency scaling and it was not running the cores at the maximum frequency, right? Right now you don't even have frequency scaling, right? I mean, not that it is the most important feature. I would actually say the most important feature right now is graphic acceleration. But of course they first will polish other stuff, maybe even sound. Because basically why? Because everything is easier than graphic acceleration, right? This is a multi-year project. What do you mean with your MacBook locked? You did factory reset. What do you mean with that? Anyway, so we digress. But leave in the comments below. Are you really sure that you can? Are you a developer or just a user? And as a developer or user, are you really sure a computer in 2021 is useful to you without video acceleration, without graphic acceleration? Meaning that graphic, like a graphical user interface, will be really slow. It will not be snappy, right? So leave me in the comments below. So what we built here, so that is musl. I would want, so do we, okay, let's try this uclibc stuff build in the meantime, which we bridged quite nicely with some Apple M1 discussion. Let's see GCC if we can, now that we committed that, if we can work on this. It might be, where is the cache stuff, that we should not explicitly manually force sharing this cache here. So let's see, let's build it fully and let's see what happens. And open risk uclibc. So you want videos, M1 Mac review, M1 Asahi Linux install. What else do you need? I should write more often video ideas and actually so you're a computer engineering student. So yeah, at least that's more than a normal user, but sorry, me too. Even ask, what do you mean? This type of Linux things, I do this for 20 years, right? Start somewhere. I usually recommend start somewhere, preferably with something you'd like to do, and work from there, right? And with each year, I mean, the crazy thing is a lot of people, I've seen some people failing IT, computer science, because they simply didn't have patience, right? Patience is key, and like being able to sit down and concentrate, right? Not playing with social media and stuff, just sitting down, concentrating, reading, and like also reading and like reflecting on it, right? Not reading and forgetting it like tomorrow. And if you, especially if you want to work on low-level stuff, it's just a bit of knowledge you need to accumulate and learn over time. And so CMake. So let's see, we could already prepare that as per usual. Multitasking recommendation also. Oh, wait a second. This GST stuff I've actually seen yesterday to fail. That was strange. I saw yesterday that it stupidly tried to check out stuff with Git. Why would it do that? What is it? Yeah, I've seen this yesterday and it took forever. What does it do with GL headers here? So that is a... need to check that. That is really... Did we build... Is Firefox in? Okay, we can actually not... Let's skip over it and see. But this is this kind of stuff that really disappoints me. For 20 years to package stuff and then 2021 stuff randomly breaks because it tries to check out stuff with Git behind your back. This is rather ridiculous. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something already, and don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. Happy that I could have helped. So we built some stuff, and config cache. Let's see. Do we have an example of remove regex of cache? Do we know? Let's see. GCC, I rebooted this over the night. It was running for a week or so. Wanted to save some electrons. This is sometimes how we, with like 10, maybe I should actually Google that. That is a little bit annoying. I probably should increase the bash history defaults, and with like 10 tmux sessions and stuff, you actually lose most of your history because I think the last shell exiting clobbers that probably. Not sure if bash has some concurrent history merging feature. So level 1, I wonder if we simply could remove conf opt, what is it, cache file or cache file or something, or config cache. What would the just cache? Cache file, what did I use? Cache file with typo. that is what we use there. So let's see if that fixes it. I've actually also just building. Oops. What we also messed this up? Maybe this one, I guess. Yeah, so my hope is so this is stage 0 that I think, yes, this built yesterday. So because in the log I saw that it's enabling GCC features, glibc features, and it doesn't make the most sense. I would hope it's only a guesstimate of maybe the forced cache file there is reusing some cached configure results from the build host to the target config. What else? Bin utils. Okay, we will see. What else do we build here? DHCP. What even was our config here? x86 musl config of minimal xlog. Okay, that is without. Right, probably musl Firefox the last time we tried to build. Yeah, so the crazy thing is, recurring theme, everything takes so much time, right? So theoretically we could have, or maybe it's even possible to build Firefox with musl, or maybe at least there are other patches, but I don't really need that. So for me, it's also control voice 29. On Linux with musl, let's see. 15 test traversing. What is that? Was FTS. I think this was the same that we disabled for libelf. Yeah, some patches. Is this upstream regression? Okay, we will see. Yeah, recurring theme, totally reverse it. Probably those videos would be more successful, like M1 Linux installation and stuff. Probably we should do that. Actually interesting, I just realized some other big YouTubers also don't do that many videos anymore. Interesting, just checked you some stuff while this is going by. So, also, by the way, this CCC is ongoing. I slightly wonder, should we do some commentaries of problems, but maybe not though. If you want to watch some stuff that is here. I looked at this earlier already. I found this a little bit hard to view here. I wonder... some stuff is certainly interesting, like catching NSO groups Pegasus spyware. I wonder why some, like my first tips with FreeCAT, seriously, I mean, this is really CCC worthy. So yeah, still, what failed here? Or maybe this failed with GST stuff. GStreamer, yeah. So what was GStreamer? That is a crazy thing, right? You think everything finally builds now, and then it fails to GL headers. Subproject GL header wrap, subproject use from GStreamer GitLab, use dependency for the is this not Mesa or what is that? I also wonder why it's hanging so long. Okay, let's do bootstrapping. So that's actually sub-projects there since 2019. So use dependency if possible sub-project. However, get option rep mount similar. Where is it even used? I really also don't appreciate debugging this stuff. Maybe I should check in the log. Yeah, it's really a waste of time for me, to be honest. It's also we're using the wrong GES scanner. Probably want to disable that. So I have no idea why it's doing that. Is it hard coded or what else? Also, this is a dash. I was actually underscore. Is it always doing that? Oh, there is also a mason here. Some fallback here. Is that somehow? Yeah, I would actually more appreciate if it just fails and tells me maybe we should disable GL. Where is even, why do I not see Mason build GL header deb of, is this not GST libs, GST, GL Mason? Here is a convoluted way of getting into sub-projects, taking into account the rep mode, so we don't download sub-project unless allowed. This only content. Yeah, not the greatest fan of this. Wasn't it there were 12 sucking build systems, and now we have 24 sucking build systems. This is so annoying. But we could try if we simply disable that. Did we recently, what was the get option GL? Would this be, is this also in? Also need to find the VI option for that still. do they have a GL option, or do we need... Can we disable that? Here's GL feature, auto descripts integration library plugin. So I guess that is value auto type feature. What was the use of? I wonder why this recently started breaking. Did someone update this, or not really, huh? Yeah, it's quite a while since I last. We could try for now cross-compile only. Hope it's disabled for feature. It's always a little bit funny with these options. Depending on whether it's a string combo thing or... okay, so that didn't, or did we? That did not yet help, unfortunately. This was, what did we build? Open risk. No, we run this, actually we are the only, wait a second, what do we do here? Did I change this yet? So we pre-built libatomic. Also, we still have this cache file there. Did we not want to release and to remove that? Dash cache file conf opt dash cache file. Why does this not? Maybe because we runtime add this here. Okay, that is a little bit annoying too. Okay, we could, what is it? Is this, where is it running? Evil config command. Do we have pre-conf there still? Unfortunately, also not. No, we hook either pre-conf there. Darn. So, wow. I mean, we could. We could have a new create config cache. Variable to disable that. So the thing is, let's make this here like false for a test and see if that fixes the thing. Okay, that build no, but that still doesn't build. so much to eventually wanting to release that. Oh, it wants use GStreamer GL. Thank you very much, GStreamer. Just what we disabled. Oh man. So yeah, maybe, or should we? Okay, maybe it's pointless to have it there if it's not fixing what we. Okay, this also doesn't fix a thing. So. Okay, config cache. So it's not the config cache directly. I probably delay that for another day then. It was basically building with the previous feature set, so something for 2022 to improve. We have anyway a couple of more small things. So we would need to, what is it? GST, GL headers or something. This is GitHub, so it's probably not what we are. Thank you very much. Maybe we should musl ports. Maybe it's just temporary internet outage and hiccups, or who knows what. Create empty abyss, GL extension. Random. Why would it not use the mesa headers? Is it not? Maybe it's simply we actually did some cleanups. Maybe it's not finding them simply. Maybe, probably. We have small things. So okay, this is hanging for whatever Git and stuff reasons, and I guess everything, nearly everything else builds now. Web. Okay, let me also. So very, very little last minute fixing required. TFS. So okay, nearly everything else builds. We can finally start the big release build. Heat the office a little bit with electrons. There is mostly bin utils. So the one thing I'm looking for is bin utils. Will probably fail in a second. Probably due to build order stuff, or actually libatomic. Maybe it wants libatomic. Let's see. So this would, yeah, this fails. Let's see, bin utils. I have the feeling we have there some. What do we want here? What does fail? libintel. What was that? Was that in? Maybe that is just building something earlier, like getText or so. Was it getText? I remember we somehow YOLO'd that previously. We also, yeah, thankfully this build doesn't take too long, so we can simply test this. Okay, everything else builds. So we have this bin utils thing left. Maybe that fixes it with building get text earlier. That is stuff we reshuffled. Yeah, so what is this stuff here? I really don't appreciate in digging in others people random abyss. This is probably I need to. Yeah, I mean, I really wish people wouldn't create strange placeholder substitute stuff. If it would just fail and tell us get proper headers, at least we would know what to do now. Like, do they need this? Is this some other straight breakage? So this was in here. Wrap, what do they do here? GL header depth, dependency, fallback, dump, dummy, GL header depth type. This will only contain. So this, is it only if it's not finding them? And dependency GL headers of GL headers. Sounds, I mean, it has fallback in the name. You would hope that is some GL header. Where is this dummy? Welcome everyone. Does someone want to help with this stuff? This is really stuff I don't appreciate. We need to grow more community here for me not to have to debug stuff I don't appreciate. I guess it doesn't find. Also, does it? Oh, this builds so long. Oh, it built. So let's see if that fixes pin utils. Hopefully it does. Looks like it does. You would hope. So this also I find GNU is not amazing as GNU autoconf is. At least you can debug it a little bit. Do we have here something? No, finds all the GLib matches here. So much random shit though. Yeah, so even yeah, this is why I totally don't love it. Or is it maybe it has additional output here of GL? Does it have? No, it doesn't. Yeah, totally amazing, right? Apple keyboard. Yeah, that is really disappointing. I mean, I could simply YOLO it and not build that on, also disabling all the X stuff. And this is really crazy, right? What our options are. Our options are fixing that, or by the way, someone says found CMake. No, maybe it previously. I mean, why does it not find CMake? Because maybe it previously found some headers with CMake, as crazy as it is. But why does it say CMake not found? It clearly have, or does it? User of, what was it? So we have CMake in the system, and why does it even say CMake not found? This is also hilarious. Can't make this stuff up. Default target not allowed for cross-use. CMake binary for machine 1 not found, giving up. Oh man. CMake binary for 1 is not cached. What the heck? Missing from cross or native file or nfar undefined. Oh man, is that what is here? Okay, CMake. Okay, now what did we? Okay, now binutils build. CMake cross. Theoretically, we should check that eventually. What does it? That is, by the way, independent of the failure we just had there. Is it GNU? Okay, this wants some GNU stuff. Thank you very much. Obviously, don't probably have that so much to test dynamic link. Maybe I simply disable CMake cross building for like now or something. Okay, everything else built. How do we do that now? I mean, we could a simple hotfix and time-saving measure would be to remove WebKit GTK and CMake from this build. And I mean, it's not the nicest thing to remove features that we just hacked to build, and then the next month they already don't build anymore. Also, you know what? This could be a new Meson, because so GST plugin base, we didn't update WebKit. Okay, WebKit GTK a little bit. You know, it wouldn't surprise me that is a new Meson regression then, because I'm pretty sure this built recently. Let's see if we, what is it, Meson crossing of here, and like binaries, where do we have, do we need to, what happens if we override that here to CMake equals, you know what, we have it, just freaking use it. Does that, do we still have that in? Maybe we don't have it. What did we even, what was that one? Let's see what happens. What was it? GST base Also we can also simply out. Hey, now it's using that font CMake. Fuck yeah. Does it also? Oh no, it's still cloning into GL headers, which I don't even know why it hangs there. I also don't, so what is it? It's also crazy. Why does it program glib mkenum? Why does it try to find this glib mkenum so often? Amazing build systems it must be. So yeah, somehow this didn't terminate yesterday. Does it even, what does it run there? It's running some git clone. Why does it not finish? Or is it, don't tell me it's so freaking large that it, what the heck, hello? You know what, it could, you know, it could even be that this is the usual cloud stuff, right? Why am I not a fan of Rust, Cargo, micro dependencies, and getting everything from the cloud? Like, yeah, I want to build this stuff. It built last month. Now we are finally done. Like we are done. We did all our freaking job live on YouTube, day and night for 3 years plus 20 years, and then you want to release it. Last week I wanted to build Rust in Cargo. I couldn't build Rust in Cargo because GitHub was down, and now maybe the free desktop stuff here is down. So maybe that even accidentally built previously. Maybe I didn't realize that it always checked this out, and it's like maybe it's genuinely failing now of this is so actually, although it does it show, although here it works. Maybe it's just a Vodafone failing infrastructure in the office. This can be reached, but not git clone. What the heck? You can't make this shit up. Or is that even? Let's try that here, for God's sake. No, it's not getting any data. What the freaking heck? What was the 76K? Thank you very much. It's doing something. So yeah, thank you very much. The 2021, I need to freaking debug git check out. Oh, this is so sad. Yeah, recurring theme. Welcome everyone. Yeah, well, too long to respond. I mean, it's not even timing out, right? It's just hanging there. And it's not only now, I saw this last night, right? So last night, midnight, I was working on this stuff, or 2300. And so it's not a new thing, right? It did already not, and yeah, so this is hanging here. So it's not even timing out, right? It's just, I don't, something, right? We could change into there, also like clean up and, but yeah, this is why T2 downloads the stuff. I'm not a fan of Rust Cargo or this, like, why, right? I want downloaded tarballs, downloaded release tarballs, like version and checksum, and maybe soon digitally signed and stuff. And we sit here, we want to release stuff, and it's like, yeah, no, we don't get the freaking sources of. Also, I would actually argue maybe we don't need this, maybe we should check what's going on there, or also Dr. Schubert, do you want to check if that's a hard requirement? It's a fallback. This is a little bit, it looked, well, they had the keyword fallback in there, so maybe it is. So, okay, so this binutil stuff looks like we, I guess that fully builds now. Let's wipe the whole build again, but not this spot. Open risk. Let's do that again to see if that fully bootstraps, and that was get text of, should we, I don't know what, we have the time. Anyway, we can wait shortly if that builds fully. Yeah, I'm really tempted to just disable that. And welcome everyone. I really don't have time for this anymore. I mean, I'm not even using it. It's not like I'm installing this musl desktop thing and running WebKit GTK now. This is most like a feature completeness test. But if this upstream stuff is maintained in such a miserable state that it's constantly broken in some way, shape, or form, then it's like, yeah, you whatever you had me at. So we just disable that. Maybe I should, what do we have there? Maybe with, I mean, yeah, maybe we simply remove that from, because I otherwise would like to have xorg in that list. Maybe we just remove the GSD base and plug in, and it's, yeah, it was a nice proof of concept as long as it built, and unless someone needs it and pays for it or stuff, then yeah, leave in the comments below, rather, yeah, this is a crazy chaotic state of upstream stuff and bugs and features. Buzzword chiefs, like, yeah, bad joke that you effectively have to know like 1 to 5 domain specific languages to build a freaking, what do you mean, CPP as C++, or I would actually not call that, if you mean C++, I totally agree, except C++, I should make my own build system here. This is not C++, alright, this is C, and it's like, yeah, I would replace C++ with open source, so it's like just a bad, it's a bad joke, totally agree, it's a bad joke, recurring theme here, right? I constantly mentioned my running gag here is once we had 12 sucking build systems and now we have 24 sucking build systems. For me personally, some news sites like, yay, converted to Meson, whatever, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. For me, zero benefit, except the only benefit maybe sometimes configuring maybe a little bit faster, but who cares, right? For me, the major drawback is totally waste of time having to learn debug, and even harder to debug, right? Configure, at least it was shell script. You could to patch and hack it and quirk it, and you could trace it. And like, yeah, for me, more waste of time, harder to debug, more failures, more new regressions, and previously we had 12 sucking build systems, now we have 24, and need to know, now we need to double the amount of debugging and domain specific knowledge, and it's like, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what else do we have here? So that's basically it. So this will rebuild a little bit. So basically, maybe until tomorrow. I wonder how fast Vodafone broken DOCSIS cable is right now. But I wonder if maybe my building that on Horizon 15 or 50X is faster than rsyncing that to the download server. But yeah, leave in the comments below, send me some patches if you want WebKit, GTK and GST streamer in the release ISO, send me some patches, otherwise I will simply just disable it, otherwise we hacked and patched and quirked everything else. Dr. Schubert says for them the free desktop GitLab also hangs, like, yeah, welcome to the club then. Yeah, more. Maybe if you have a free minute and are motivated and stuff, you could check if you understand this Meson stuff there better than I, and if we can disable that, right? I would actually normally not check out this bloody headers. I would actually prefer it to just use the Mesa headers. That you would think the flagship reference open source Mesa 3D headers should be enough. So I've also no idea what is going on here. I don't, so this was GST NVI of that. So it looks a little bit like fallback. So how does it work here? G on header dep dependency. How does it work here? G on headers dummy dep. Where is this dummy dep coming from? Don't see that here. Required false. This will only contain the includes of headers that are not found. Comport includes if GL header dep type name internal. GL header. Why is this? I don't even see where this is coming from. GL header dep. How does it freaking work? This is the only occurrence in the bloody freaking dependency, empty name, fallback, some array of GL headers or GL headers dummy deb, convoluted way of getting at the sub project taking into account the rep mode, so we don't download as unless allowed. What does it freaking do? Can we set this bloody type name to Mesa or something and then desktop OpenGL checks? This is so hilarious. Why in 2021 when GL is already on the way out, why do I need my waste my time with such a complete clusterfuck of a garbage file dumpster fire, man? What was it? Base, plugins. What? Also. What happens if we set that to GL header type name? I mean, and anything else than external, so like maybe either external or, oops. Pro tip, don't get an Apple keyboard, external. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not even that such strange hacks are documented in some freaking manuals, so unknown option GL header job. Oh, this was a fail. Maybe we should Google for. So do we build here? Apparently we build. Dependency, can we fall back GL headers, header type? I have not even with 20 years of programming experience, I have no idea what this stuff is trying to do. Isn't that an amazing build system? Are you as thrilled and excited and satisfied as I am? Brain dead GL detection on, I mean, they have the courage to call Mason's brain dead GL detection. To me, this looks pretty brain dead to me, though. Is there an update? GSD plugin space. Oh, yeah, there is an update. Will they have fixed something? Fingers crossed. Yeah, patches welcome. Maybe this becomes, maybe we should make a cursing at build systems channel like Louis Rossman's, but for build systems. The right to repair freaking build systems, TM. Alright, we had this random garbage. So that obviously didn't do anything. But probably that is still the same random garbage. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Yeah, cloning GL headers, thank you very much. I mean, we probably could commit that, so maybe it also didn't build for data. GST plugins base. best with 1p. Yeah, that's probably fine. Except that it didn't build before and after, but otherwise it's fine. I think I give up on this stuff because I don't need it and I don't even really quite want it, and this is too stupid for me. This is really too brain dead. This is basically, this is a summary of all the build systems and systemd stuff. It's like, yeah, convoluted way of brain dead hacks of taking into account everything as a dumpster fire. So really look at this. Here's GL header depths, stuff that you need to be a Meson ninja to understand this guru meditation stuff. That's not used anywhere else and stuff. And then here's GL depths, unneeded depth. Like seriously, what the heck is even going on there? Need AP. So maybe all this branded stuff is only for building the shit on Windows and it's majorly failing on us. Maybe this bloody stuff, I mean, it sounds a little bit like maybe that is from Windows compatibility and we waste our time now with this completely useless shit here. Just remove the code and always set comport includes to. Yeah, we could actually try that. Comport includes the project something of. Yeah, let's see what happens. You know what? Let's YOLO that. Let's see what could possibly go wrong. How do we call this? Unconvolute or hotfix GL patch of, let's see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, this is recurring theme. Yeah, I spent, how much did we spend? Already 50 minutes on this random garbage. Hey, we're starting to build. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this stuff also builds and not fail with missing headers. Hey, it built. It built. Yay, yay. Thank you. Now we only need to check if WebKit okay, still, oops. Builds. You know what, let's do it with verbose because why not? So then we actually would WebKit configuring done. That sounds promising. Last time we tried that, at least for glibc it was building. We could try a more minimal version of the other patch. Let's send edits. It's not that it would be too important, but it might. Base of manual of basically like minus and plus that and 1, 2, 3. Nothing like hand editing patches. And so we have 1, 2, 3. And that would be 7 lines to fix with some offset. So how much offset was it? Like maybe 3 lines or something. We don't really need to fix the offset. It's just like we would get some fuzz message. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, oh, wait a second. This is 7 to 7. Actually, let's keep the other move hotfix back up and save time if we need to redo that. Okay, that is still building. That was 2 GST plugins base, I think. Let's see if that hand edited patch applies something like hand editing, manual guru meditating patches. Looks like it applied as long as it builds. Yeah, clones graphene does not sound amazing. Yeah, patch welcome. Recurring theme, randomly, dynamically cloning, downloading sources behind the packager's back. Not amazing stuff, not approved. Don't do that. And does it take so long? Oh no, this did not work. So that patch was not enough. Okay. So good that we kept the other. So wait a second. I also did this wrong. Can we do this order? Let's see. Not sure. Maybe we can. Oh, we can. Failed. So much to polishing the patch. One, two, three, 1, 2. Yeah, whatever. Did something wrong there. So much to hand editing this stuff. So what have we done wrong? 7, 7, what is the difference? 7 to 7, must be some, maybe I messed up some spaces, so probably. So yeah, patch is welcome. If you want to patch that to not clone other stuff, no, this is still not enough. So this, at least now we know. Should we check if we applied the stuff correctly? Yeah, I saw this already, fix, yeah. So that is somehow not enough. Maybe because it sets the dependency already or something. So also, okay, CMake bloody what? Probably also I wouldn't. Oh, wait a second. This was the same as we just had. We just rebuilt this, so nothing like rebuilding stuff or testing. At this rate, probably T2 becoming one of the most tested build systems here, live on this channel. And now it's time for lunch already. So as usual, quite 1 hour 30, because obviously I hope you learned something and enjoyed this. mutex. What? Did we not touch that? Oh, we touched that wrong. Okay, wait a second, this is the wrong package. Oh no, this is WebKit GTK stuff still building, just without the verbose. What did this interrupt? What did we interrupt this? Did we? Oh, we had too many background jobs. Nah, whatever. Okay, let's do that again. So yeah, let's await what was it. Did WebKit GTK build? Or maybe it built already. I lost overview. Did it fully build previously? Maybe it did. Could rewind my own video. But yeah, basically that's it. I think we, thanks to viewer comments and motivations as usual, should be in a good shape. That's it for our T2 just raw vanilla, mostly upstream. Raw vanilla upstream, except where we had to patch it because broken. Linux, basically unbroken Linux. I hope you learned something and enjoyed this, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for even more videos and work to come. And as usual, leave comments below what you think, what you're finding. What do you need packaged, what do you need patched, what breaks, and by the way, I had one more to do last night. Yeah, but that's it for now. I'm hungry, so see you next time.